Hey, and welcome to Where Music Meets the Soul. I am so excited today because I have two idols of mine. Both of them are idols of mine. I have William Shatner and Neil deGrasse Tyson. So, Neil, I only found out about you when you started being on, what was it? Big Bang Theory.
Oh,
And that was the first
You
time I
didn't
came
see him in
across you.
SpongeBob?
I did. I
was in
saw him in
SpongeBob, too.
SpongeBob. I did see you in SpongeBob, but I wasn't
My
clear
God, guys!
on who you
Do
were.
ever watch PBS or anything like that?
Hey, listen, do you know how I found out William Shatner? Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And then I got completely confused because in the movie, a different person played you. And it really freaked me out because John Lithgow was the guy who saw
Yeah.
the
I was
demon on the wing.
I was busy. I was shooting something. I couldn't do it because, but he did a wonderful job. It's an interesting thing how a piece of drama strikes a note, and here I think it's due to the fact that people think if we were meant to fly, we'd have wings. So there's this hidden fear, justifiably. I just did 12 hours on an airplane yesterday. Justifiably, a fear of flying. I mean,
Right.
when the plane goes up or down, you think there's somebody on the wing looking in.
Well,
Uh,
I'm an educator here, so I need to back people up. You are talking about an episode of The Twilight Zone that predates Star Trek. It was called Terror at 20,000 Feet. And just now we're all on the same page. And William Shatner was on in two episodes of The Twilight Zone, one of which was where he's a passenger and looked like he had some mental instabilities in that episode. Not
Right.
the character, not the actor.
the actor as well had it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it
And
was
so, and he
reflecting
sees a
reality.
monster. He sees a monster on the wing, ripping off panels from the wing, and every time he tries to tell the flight attendant, excuse me, the stewardess is what they were back then, that the monster drifts away, and so he's got no evidence. And I use that clip in a public talk I give
No
on
kidding.
the methods and tools of science, and how all you needed was a smartphone to take a picture. How
Right, take a
simple that
picture
would
of
have
stuff.
been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
except that
screaming
was
at the TV all the
pre
time.
pre-electronic phones. But like everything else, including the House of Blues, it needs to touch a chord internally. And the best of Star Trek, for example, was always something that humanity recognized that we were riffing on for the future, but it was always a human weakness or desire, and those uh, half-hour films that were made, the best of which were always some human weakness, some human fear, touched on it and dramatized it.
So you were 35 years old when you did Captain Kirk in Star Trek. Did you know that was going to be such an iconic thing? Because I've watched you. You're in many things before that too, and many things after.
No, no, who knows? I mean, the elements of a hit, whether it's a talk show, a television show, a movie, a play on Broadway, if people knew what the elements should be, they would write hits all the time, and some people actually do, don't they? But generally, a hit something is only known after it reaches the audience, and why it becomes popular it remains a mystery until the people watching it can explain it.
And keep in mind, the show was canceled. So probably William
Good times.
Shatner didn't know that William Shatner
No.
It's going to be
would
what
become
years,
iconic
years,
in
years.
season 3 when they didn't renew the contract.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let's turn that on to you, Neil.
What?
Well, so you work for years to get this esoteric degree in astrophysics. I mean,
Yes.
what is astrophysics? You're studying the astronomy, right? And
Yeah,
you
it's
learn
the physics of the universe.
the
Yeah.
physics of the universe. So, I mean, what could be more bizarre and exotic and esoteric than the physics of the universe?
Nothing.
Right? Even nothing has more appeal than nothing is nothing. So, when did you know that you were a hit?
Oh, Yeah, that's an interesting question because
Yeah,
I think
that's the
social
first
media.
time you've said that after several years of you and I working together.
No, I mean social media plays a role. I was early and active as an educator on social media, not as someone who was self-promoting. Nor did I care that you knew where I was or what I was doing, which is so much of what people. Oh, I'm in a new town today. Anybody know any burger joints? That's not how I used it. I'm an educator. It's a platform. Every one of my posts was informational and or educational or and ideally a little bit humorous.
You
But
know,
you asked me when I knew,
yeah,
and I think I knew. There were two occasions. I looked online, and two people were arguing with each other about something I had said. This is at a time when my email address was public. So either of them could have emailed me to say, is this right or not? They were arguing with each other
they
about what I
preferred
said.
that.
First one. Then I was in a very tiny indie film preview, and
SpongeBob?
Shatner is jealous that I was given a tiny little role in SpongeBob. I was Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Oh,
astrophysicist. So, so anyway, so I'm they had a little after party reception, and Meryl Streep was there. And I said, oh, I got to meet Meryl Streep. And I was walking towards her. She approached me and said, you're famous. You're Neil deGrasse Tyson. I said, and I'm sure
I
she
am?
was being a little playful as well. But the fact that that moment happened at all, I said, okay, I guess I've crossed over.
Wow.
to me, the point when you crossed over, Neil, was when you did that. Like I saw a TikTok of you doing Pi Day with your son, and I thought it was
Pi
the funniest
Day?
thing ever.
Is
Yeah,
that is
Pi Day.
that pie like in circumference of a wheel, or is that like apple pie?
I'll
No,
let
no,
him
no,
explain it.
Pi.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Pi Day. So, pi is 3.14159266 blah 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 blah. So
No,
ET
don't give me
people.
blah blah blah. What is that? What you said?
The whole
I'm good for
concept of
eight
Pi Day.
decimals. Okay, but my son knows it to 100 decimal places.
No kidding.
Yeah, and so all because I had a T-shirt. No, it was a sweatshirt when I was, maybe when he was young. He saw my sweatshirt and it had pi to 100 digits on it. He just decided to memorize it, and just
That is
on a lark.
wild.
And
So he's got your kind of mind.
no, I don't know. So I said, let's get him to recite pi on TikTok. And so I had to blindfold him because he could be reading it. You don't know. So blindfolded him, and there he went.
No
And
kidding. How many numerals?
it's
100.
100. Well, it's all
100 plus
It
three.
goes into
it's three
infinity.
and
I
then
know, but
99 decimal places.
yeah.
Right.
so he
Because
did
everybody
99
knows.
decimals.
Yeah, it might have been 100. 100 or
And
101.
did he do them like a 7 and a pause while he got, or did he do 7, 3, 2, 1, 6, but like that?
He was straight on and
So wait a
straight
minute.
in.
Did he memorize that?
Yes. Yes. Now here's a here's
Neil,
a little
Neil, hold on,
what,
Neil.
what?
What is the meaning of pi going on to infinity? What is the philosophical
It's
meaning?
pi to 12 decimal places is good enough, like to measure the circumference of the universe to
No kidding.
okay. So these extra decimals are.
I was going to say, where do they lead?
I don't.
Where
to
is 13
infinity.
after 12? Where does that take you after your end of the universe? And how do you know what the end of the universe is? See, this is how we work.
Yeah. And the other thing is, remember Pi, I was a tutor in college. That's how I made it through college. People used to pay me $35 to take their algebra test. And I wonder if I go to jail for that.
That
now.
is
Wait. So you were a math tutor.
I was a math tutor. I went to University of Arizona as a civil engineer.
What does
and
that mean, being a master? What does that mean?
No,
tutor.
math tutor. Math
A
So
tutor.
mentor.
I would take all of the people that did not understand math, and I would teach them how math worked, but I would break it down, and I think that's what Neil's power is.
Well,
That
so
he
can I have a
explains
quick
them.
I have a quick story about that. So when I was in college and graduate school, I was a performing member of 3 different dance companies. And when I got to graduate school, and money was
What
very,
kind of
very low.
dance, Neil?
You write that down. He was in a dancer.
So 3
What,
different
what
companies.
kind of dance?
Okay, one of them was International Latin Ballroom.
For God's
Another
sakes.
was like show tunes, ballet, a mixture hybrid, and a third was Afro-Caribbean, which will really put out your lower back if you're not careful, because there's a lot of hip undulating in that one. So, but here's my point. So I was in desperate need of extra funds in graduate school. We hardly paid anything, and one of my fellow dancers said, "Come down with me downtown because he
SpongeBob.
dances." Because he dances in an all women's, what do you call it? It's where the guys
Troop.
shake in front of women, okay? And so you get tips. So I went down. So I just
You did a nude thing?
No. Well, you don't have many clothes on, and I was in really, really good shape I could do a full split. I was pumped. So I also used to wrestle.
He's 6'3". What are you, 6'3"?
6'2". Yeah. I was in really good shape. So he said, "Come on down." And, we dance in front of drunk women. They put money in your G-string. So I said, "Okay." So I go down there just to watch.
You were part of Hollywood
just to get
Man.
data. Just to get data. And they in one of the
Or be on a data. You wanted to make a data with the
one of
leading
them
lady.
came out, and so there's a routine where they came out with asbestos-lined jock straps that had been where they put lighter fluid on it, ignited them, and they came out dancing to Jerry Lee Lewis's "Great Balls of Fire."
Oh my God!
And I said, "No, I'm embarrassed."
Does anybody know this, or is this
I
sensational?
don't think anybody's ever heard
I'm
this.
embarrassed to say, it was not until that moment when I said, "I think I'll be a math tutor."
What is that, like masturbate? I mean, what is that?
I don't know why I didn't think math tutoring before that moment, because of course I can tutor math. I'm getting a PhD in astrophysics. I can tutor anybody's math.
And because the people who need math tutoring are stuck at college level algebra.
Yeah, basically that's correct. That's a correct fact. So that's my little math tutor story there. Yeah. I never told you that, Bill, I guess.
No, no. I mean, dancing naked in front of horny women is something you haven't revealed, which suggests to me there's a whole other part of your life you haven't revealed that we're going to examine on the, what is it, the 19th and 20th?
Stage. Yeah, in the Saban Theatre.
So when I was tutoring, I used to use pi, and that's why it struck me so hard when you did that. I used to use pi to explain to people, pi is the number what a 1-inch diameter circle would measure in the circumference. And the reason you never could get to a finite number is you can break down the measurement forever. So that's how I got
I used pi. I used pi in my early work as well. In vaudeville, there would be a cherry pie in the face.
So, Bill, the issue for you, I asked my crew, what do you want me to ask Bill? And they said, how did they come up with, are you familiar with the term the red shirt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I used to always make fun when I would watch is when as soon as you hit the landing party,
the red shirt was doomed. Right.
You landed, and I didn't recognize one of the characters before I realized they were there. We all used to say that guy's going to die.
Right.
They never kill any of the main guys. They always kill that poor guy.
Right.
And when you watch Galaxy Quest, that was the storyline.
I know, that was the joke. Yeah. We were aware of it beginning to that the concepts on Star Trek, which were used frequently, became familiar to us. So that one about the red shirt was always funny to us.
Yeah,
you're gonna die.
And by the way, that persisted when Bill went into space, because on his Blue Origin flight, there were 4 or 5 of you posed, and I don't know if this was photoshopped later. It was before AI, so I don't know if it was photoshopped in later, but everyone on the crew, and Bill is in this photo, is wearing a red jacket. Okay. And Bill's jacket is green.
That was Photoshop.
I did not know that.
Bill's jacket was, in the photo that I saw, Bill was not wearing the red jacket. So,
and I promised I was not going to ask that question because I
It's such fandom.
it's
Yeah,
ridiculous because
To you, two serious men of letters and a pie extravaganza, to be aware that the guy wearing a red shirt is doomed,
I saw
if
someone
not now,
to
later.
show the
If
comparison
not now,
between
when?
Bill Shatner coming back from Blue Origin and Katy Perry. I noticed that you didn't kiss the ground when you landed.
no, you did. Did you? What did you do, Bill, when you came when you hit ground terra firma? What did you do?
I started to weep.
Mm.
I was sobbing, and I didn't know why I was crying. I thought, am I sobbing because I'm a relief that I've landed, or is there something else? And it became something else when I was looking. You know, this apparently this common emotion hits people who are up there and look at the fragility of Earth and its beautiful shape and color. There's this sudden affection for the planet. Uh, for me, it was part of my history of being a ecologist, an aficionado of being an ecologist, and having read Rachel Carson's book, Silent Spring, was about DDT, but it was so many years ago. But it became the novel, became the red shirt, if you will, of ecologists, because we're all going to die,
Right.
and it's not going to be a red shirt. It's going to be wounds of us bleeding from. So I became enamored of the idea we need to save the earth. And when I saw with my own eyes how fragile, I'm a pilot, I knew that you needed extra oxygen at 12,500 feet. You need to have an oxygen bottle to go any higher. So I knew that. So what is that? 2 miles up in the air, there's the fragility of breathing becomes obvious, and all the plastic particles floating around in our blood have become obvious in pollution of the earth and the water, and the list goes on. And I found myself weeping uncontrollably with national television watching me, and I couldn't figure out why I was weeping. And I had to go off and say, "What's the matter with me?" And then I realized I was in grief for the earth. I was watching the dying of the earth, and for us to be, for the United States to be a leader in green power and all thing, and all of a sudden deny global warming when it's all around you is bizarre. It's madness, and that's what I was weeping at, and it took me a while to recognize it.
So,
Wow.
Bill, you had a bad case of the overview effect because that's what the astronauts talk about.
Yeah, but
Where
do they talk about the global warming, Neil?
not so much. It's more geopolitical than
Yeah,
scientific.
yeah,
It's more.
exactly,
I don't see borders. Why are people down there killing each other over
exactly.
what
Yeah,
reason?
yeah.
Because they worship different gods. Because
Well, that plus the fact that they don't have the water we have, or the oil, or
oh yeah,
you
no
know. So I
resources.
want what you got
Right.
is an element there as
Plus
well.
space in print that has unlimited resources. So the day we turn the solar system into our backyard could conceivably be the day that war over limited access to resources
Well,
or access to limited resources becomes a
but
distant
Neil,
memory.
explain regolith and its
That's just geologists using
duality.
big words for simple things. That's
Well,
all that
it's
is.
what you're hearing is what Neil and I are going to do on stage on at the Saban Theatre on the
Yeah, May
9th,
19th and 20th. Anybody's
May
around for that.
19th in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no.
In fact, we know because of the time we spent together how much content we have to just sort of spill out of ourselves and interact. And in fact, it's 2 days worth of content over those 2 days. It's not one show repeated. And so, because we talk about our lives, our mutual acting careers.
Well, how did you guys meet each other? How did this come about?
It's I think the bromance has a very real origin story where we re-met. We had met before, but because I was a guest on his show and he was a guest on my podcast,
Mhm.
and I was honored and privileged that we had those exchanges. But then with that, then there it stayed until we were both two guests of maybe a half dozen featured guests on a cruise to Antarctica.
Wow.
This is a cruise for an organization called Future of Space that creates these experiences for people who think about exploration, not only space, but also on Earth, under the sea. And this was a cruise. And so I said, "Hey, Bill, how you been?" And then we're a captive audience to each other. We're on a ship about to tour Antarctica, and we just started talking, and crowds gathered
To listen.
to listen to our stories. And we look around, it's like, what's going on here? And so the organizers of the trip put us on this little mini stage they have in the boat. It's a boat, so there's a little theater set up there. And at that point, they said, we got to take this on the road. So, but the bromance, I think, I became very close to Bill. And I don't know if he would say that same thing.
I definitely would say that.
Okay, yeah. So we came close to each other, and hence in a very like we've been friends our whole lives.
Right.
And so the only real word for that is bromance.
Well, the reason that happened, we became very close, is that it was suggested we do an audible book, whatever you call it.
Wow.
Yeah, an Audible original, they call it.
An Audible original book, which is out there. What's it called?
It's called Cosmos Confidential. Yeah, it was just released a couple of months ago. Yeah.
So they said
5 hours of us.
Wait, I need to ask this
No.
question because I'm a marketing
There were
guy.
five-
You're going to sell the book at the show?
So that we're still figuring that out. Yeah, it's an
He's
audio.
talking about merchandise, isn't he?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm fixated on making money.
But what I was going to say was, the book people said you need to record 20 hours of conversation so we can extract the amount of time we need for the book.
Wow.
So Neil and I talked for 2 days. From where I am sitting here now, overlooking the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, he and I, with cameras on us, talked for 2 days. And, you have dinner, 2 hours. Nice to meet you. It was a really interesting dinner. Thank you.
about going down
We're friends
wormholes.
forever. If you spend 20 hours having to talk, not just, well, I got to go, I'll have another drink. No, for business, we had to talk. You get to know people very well. And I fell in love with him. He's
become really good friends or enemies.
He's an incredible individual.
One of the two happens. And
Yes, exactly. I'm not coming anywhere near that guy again. Right.
Not to sound corny, but all the puzzle pieces we brought out of our lives, they fit together. Our puzzle pieces fit each other's puzzle pieces. And the fact that, I did have a couple of stints on The Big Bang Theory. These are my tiny little forays into the acting world that is the profession of William Shatner. And William Shatner is Bill. Can I call you Bill? Am I allowed?
That's the name of my album that's out there.
Okay, you can call me Bill.
Who's hustling?
We can sell some of that album.
Yeah. So the what was I saying? So these exchanges. What I found is I dabbled in his space, but I'm an educator. And William Shatner is perennially curious. He's curious like an 8-year-old kid is curious. Right. But usually you lose some of that in middle school and high school because you're trying to be cool, right? But William Shatner will stand there flat-footed and say, "What's this about quantum entanglement? It doesn't make sense. It's absurd." And so I got to talk him off the ledge every time. He gets ruddy faced.
Listen to me. I'm going to give you. In order to keep up with him, I'm immersing myself in quantum and stuff like trying vainly to learn to understand something. And last night, I got down to, Neil, you're going to love this. What is a photon? A photon is inexplicable. It's absurd what a photon is. It's an element of energy that has no matter. You can photograph it, but you can't see. You don't know what it's going to do, and it changes its mind midway. It's bizarre, and it's a basic concept of nature, and it's
I got to
absurd.
see what I'm saying. I got to talk him off the ledge every time.
Well, when you
this happens.
begin to think of the mystery of space and all these secrets that we don't know about, but
So I
our
love him
casual-
and want to kill him at the same time. Give him-
My favorite clip on Bill. He was on Saturday Night Live, and he was doing a skit about he was at a convention.
Oh yeah.
And he asked the guy, "Have you ever kissed a girl?" And I thought that was me in high school and college. There was like 3 girls in my engineering class. I didn't know there were girls at college. I thought it was all men.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then the other thing, Neil, you said, I agree with you, and I can never articulate it the way you do. There is no racism, because people saying that you're different because of pigments in skin is so crazy. It's like we don't treat people with different color hair differently. And
Right. Yeah,
and
it's a weird fact. I mean, I think it's a bit of tribalism, actually, and it manifests in every possible way. This is the thing that disappears in the overview effect. And
Well, I'm going to tell you even more how
are you
absurd.
speaking with your mouth full,
Yes.
Bill?
Apple and peanut butter.
Especially the peanut butter. You know, they put peanut butter on the upper roof of Mr. Ed's mouth
To make
so
him
that
talk.
he would always try to lick it off and make it look like he was talking.
See, there's a fact that he's filled with facts about how stars are born and what they did.
So make sure if you do eat peanut butter, Bill, do not eat ones that are made with seed oil. Try to stay away from that, because it's funny, because Neil comes up in my algorithm a lot because he debunks these things where, like, it is terrible what they did. It's funny, I have a picture of the food pyramid, and I think luckily I was an engineer and I realized when they presented the food pyramid, it made no sense. It was
And
like,
they what?
I knew the food pyramid is so unhealthy. If
Oh.
you followed the food pyramid, you'd be filled with grains and processed food. You know, because bread
true,
and grains are on the bottom.
See, I viewed it differently. I said, wow, meat and animal fats are at the top of the pyramid. That must
that's
be
the
the
best.
most important.
I wish I could.
The pinnacle of the pyramid.
It's the other way around, right?
That's the
On
joint.
on the-
That's the thing.
Yeah, but the way Neil is doing it, that's right, because that's the best stuff for you to eat. If you can't recognize what you're eating and when you put it in your mouth, you shouldn't put it in your mouth. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of
Oh,
like
that's a truism that has no basis in fact.
I don't
What are
tell
you-
people how to leave their. Wait,
Well, no, I mean, a scientist is got a PhD in whatever he's making, makes a new thing, and says, "Here's the cure for longevity. It doesn't taste good and it doesn't look good. Take it." I mean, come on, you don't recognize it. This is called. I want to inform you guys. There's a thing called science. And science is making up new things all the time that we don't recognize that'll save your life, like an injection for measles or something.
I forgot, and I don't know who said it, because any scientific information usually comes from you, Neil. It was prior to, like in caveman days, we didn't live till we were 30. Half the people
Yeah, I
died
can be
at 30.
precise. And so 10,000 years ago, half of everyone born was dead before they turned 30. Half. Okay.
But the guy who was frozen in the Alps, he wasn't.
So fast forward to 1840. So this is 10,000 years in the future. Half of everyone born in the world was dead by the age of 35. We had a 5-year improvement over 10,000 years.
Wow.
And every one of those people ate organic, breathed clean air,
There you
drank
go.
pure water, ate free range game.
That's why we
we
should
should-
live after an atomic bomb. We should live in the area. It's good for your health.
So science matters here. That's all I'm trying to say. And
Yeah,
so the
that's
people
what I'm
let's,
trying to
let's
say,
go
too.
back to nature and back to cavemen were back to nature and it didn't help them. That's all I'm saying.
And
Well,
today,
yes, but
what is that
the
number,
statistics are loused up by the fact that they were providing food for these prehistoric animals more than they got food from them. They were eating.
They were the source.
They were at the top of the food pyramid in those years.
You know? So I want to
Saber-tooth
go back.
tiger.
I had a friend, his name was BB King, and I
did one of
used to
his
be his
songs.
local promoter. So
No
every
kidding.
time he came, we would sit down and talk for a couple hours, and that's what I feel like you
What was
become
he like?
friends.
Because that "Thrill Is Gone" is one of the great songs of all time.
And BB King loved to talk, and he loved, Sherman was his manager or his road manager. And the best story I have is one time I came into the green room and I found $50,000 in cash shoved in the couch. So I'm thinking to myself, the only person who can take that kind of money is BB King. So I called Sherman, and he goes, "Oh, I left it there. Could you drive it over to the hotel and don't tell BB?"
Holy, that's not good.
Well,
That's how to
it
get
reminds
shot.
me of
Okay.
like you end up being friends, and it was a ritual for us to go out and eat and to talk to each other. And I told him that when he was talking about retiring because of his diabetes, he said, "I want to retire," and I said, "You shouldn't, because if you have no reason to get up, then you start to look at everything internally,
It's
and it's not
absolutely
good."
right. I'm here to verify that.
Well, you are the proof of concept that you just keep going. Energizer bunny.
Yeah, even if you don't make any sense, which I'm
Is that rapidly
just keep
approaching?
going and ramble on, and people think you know what what you're talking about, and in fact you don't, because you've long since forgotten the original fact.
Well, how many
So, Bill,
times
we got to
you
get you on stage as many times as possible before that day arrives.
I know, and every time I'm on stage and I can't think of a name, I think this has gone on too long. I'll get off the stage now. So I'm retiring now, folks. Bye. And then the
One thing
name.
about the blues, I learned how to think abstractly by listening to blues lyrics. So, for example, Buddy Guy, there's a line in one of his songs where he says, "Honey, if I never see you again, that's too soon for me."
And the great fact about Buddy Guy is that when he played for me at House of Blues, that I used to have to pick him up at the Burbank airport. And he would come, and he used to drink a bottle of Martell cognac before he would go on stage.
Oh my God!
Really?
And he did this up until like 4 or 5 years ago. And it was crazy that he functioned. And I had to look at my dad because he would drink a bottle of Bacardi and function fine.
Mm.
I wonder
So
what the answer to that is, because it's not on the food chain. Um, Listen, are we telling people every so often where we're appearing and why and how?
well, just like you
You know
guys
the
do
facts
this,
better. He knows the
just
facts
like you
better than
guys
I
do
do.
this, that we basically are taking this interview and breaking it up into 1,000 social media posts.
Okay.
And that's the way, because Luann and I spend all our time, because from my House of Blues days till today, you have to market things completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Like the
Got to
concept
package
that,
it. Got to
right.
package it.
Well,
And
what
what
do you
it-
mean, guys? What do you mean? I'm not.
The
No, this is,
social
we've
media-
been talking for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not what works on. So he's going to take a 90-second clip, a 2-minute clip. It's going to become a reel on Facebook or it all gets distributed onto the platforms commensurate with the content.
So what does that tell us? The level of ability to focus and concentrate on something is
No, what's
less.
happening is
it's
we're
a minute
dividing
and a half
ourselves.
now.
We're dividing ourselves into like interest groups. So all the people that like you, it's Star Trek fans and it's the Neil deGrasse fans. So we are appealing to them because the concept, like I used to go home and watch Lost in Space, and that was my choice, and I had to be there at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning to see Lost in Space. There was no recording it. There was no, going back. And what you guys, what's completely changed is now all interest-based people are like grouping together. So once we collect this group that likes Bill Shatner and we combine it with other stuff, that's where we get to because if I advertise on radio, I talk to my kids and they have not turned on a radio ever because they use
They don't own a radio.
Right.
Yeah, I just saw a billboard on the highway and it said 102.7. It's a radio station.
Right.
That was the billboard.
I thought that was the limit of my lifetime.
No.
102.7 years is. That's wild. I wrote a series of books a long time ago called Tech War, and I'm being asked now. The company wants to buy the series of books Tech War to do 4-minute episodes of a series.
Well, they say
4 minutes.
the human attention span is now 8 minutes.
So we could do 2 episodes and catch them just before they fall down drunk from
Right. The same
Bill,
amount
I
of
was
time it
just
takes. Yeah.
Bill, I was just in hair and makeup at the Colbert Report, and the woman who did my hair said she used to do your makeup for some long period of time, and you were very impressed because she said her son liked the Tech Wars books, and she brought in the Tech Wars, and you were kind enough to sign them.
No
I
kidding.
just thought I'd
What
carry that.
is that like what's the word kismet? I bring this book that's been out of print for 20 years up in this moment, and you have the same experience. That's what's happened to us.
Right.
We're
all
working
living
on
the
the
same lives.
same line.
But what I most value about my friendship with Bill is that when we share our life stories, they braid, they become a tapestry. They come together as a tapestry, and on that tapestry, you can see pieces of the world, pieces of America, pieces of people's interactions with
That's
each other,
interesting.
and the sum of the parts is greater than that which went into it because it tells a bigger story than either of us could have told alone.
Well,
And
the story is one of progression. For me, a gradual realization of the mystery, the magic, the imponderable magic of the universe, and how in awe I am of some of the rules we know, and the fear is one of the emotions of what we have yet to discover, and what is Andromeda is coming this way, and it's going to meld with this
yeah, I was
galaxy.
withholding that information from you, Bill, because I didn't want you to worry. The Andromeda Galaxy, we are on a collision course with the Andromeda Galaxy.
So in 1 billion years, you better get ready.
Yeah.
I've got it on my calendar.
But there is the possibility, and Neil, you should address this because I need your information. There is a possibility that somewhere in this galaxy's history, a previous galaxy went through it, and the spaces are so large between the stars and its concomitant planets that nothing was touched except maybe the tail end of our galaxy got hit, because there's apparently some facts there that only you would know, Neil.
Well, yes, stars as big as they are, their distances between them is so vast that even when galaxies collide, stars themselves don't. However, they feel each other's presence by virtue of their gravity.
Yeah.
And so their trajectories within the galaxy are greatly altered. And the scene after two galaxies collide is like a train wreck, because stars feeling this constantly changing gravitational allegiance that they previously had is they're cast hither and yon. And by the way, this happened in my lifetime where we figured out that galaxies collide. It used to be, so there's one of my colleagues made a catalog of just called peculiar galaxies. Why do these look weird and all the others look very regular? And were they born that way, like Lady Gaga, or did something happen to them? And not until we could simulate, model colliding galaxies on a computer, that was late 60s, early 70s, did we say, hey, wait a minute, this used to be two galaxies, and now it's one galaxy after the two collided. And a mentor of mine said, a wrecked Lexus is not a different kind of car. It's still a Lexus.
That's funny. I wonder why he chose Lexus.
Yeah, I know. I'm wondering that myself. He
Bentley
was French,
is-
by the way. But
So are you saying that a galaxy unknown to us now, because its trajectory has taken it out of our ken, right? Passed by, didn't crash, but altered the significance of the beings, of the entities inside that our galaxy. And
We have there's a cottage industry within astrophysics that studies stars within our galaxy that are all moving together but differently from other stars. And the suspicion is, if you turn the clock backwards, these used to be independent, discrete dwarf galaxies that we had carried around with us, and they collided down among our stars and got absorbed. And they don't get completely stirred because they were traveling together. So you can see, they're called moving group. No, moving group, there's a word for them, where the whole set of stars are plunging through this field of other stars. And it's like, what gave them that speed? And why are they all coming from the same direction? So yes, and it's called galactic cannibalism, by the way.
oh,
That's what we call it.
The crazy other thing that you talked about was, like, just by sheer chance and the vastness of it, there's other human beings, or there's other living beings out there. But you said something once. More importantly, what happens if we're an anomaly and we're the only people?
Yeah, it could be terrifying to think there's other intelligence out there, or intelligence greater than our own. What would that mean emotionally, culturally, religiously? But maybe it's more terrifying to learn that we're alone in the universe.
And we're an
well,
accident.
I don't think there's any question that there are many, uncountable many living entities in this galaxy, let alone the billions of galaxies that exist. Just numerically, it has to be so.
And on Star Trek, you had sex with all of them, Bill.
That's right. And some were better than others. So some you could see and feel.
I was obsessed with the green girl.
Right, but that green came off all over. Yeah, life on other planets. So yes, there's no question in my mind, based on faith of just numerical faith, not religious faith, that there exists, just on the basis of the dominant expression of necessity that life has. Life is tenacious here. You can imagine how, and it exists at 600 degrees above Fahrenheit, and it exists below freezing in the Antarctic. I mean, life is everywhere, waiting for its moment in time. Tens of thousands of years, sometimes it's waiting.
To quote Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way.
Yes.
Did you just quote Jeff Goldblum?
Jurassic Park.
Oh my God! Well, but those are the facts. That just logically, there has to be. It's the made-up world, the world of imagination that has said, they're among us and they're hiding and they don't want us to know. And I mean, all these bizarre facts. They've traveled, 13 billion light years to get here, and we're not going to.
That works.
No, yeah. Don't tell anybody we're here.
We're hiding.
Ruined it for everyone.
Yeah, you're right. We've traveled all this way, but don't tell anybody. It's crazy. Right. So there are just certain truths that must be so. And one of them is they're out there, but they haven't come here yet.
I know when I've watched Star Trek, you weren't supposed to interfere with other populations.
But if we didn't interfere, there was no show, right?
That is true. When I was coming here, I was trying to explain to my assistant who Neil deGrasse Tyson was, and I said, do you know what Kelvin, absolute zero, is, or Kelvin? And I was trying to do your shtick on there is no such thing as cold, it's lack of heat. And I was trying to explain it to her, and she just looked at me like, I don't care.
So wait a minute. Let's. How are we doing for time? We got all these 3 minutes.
Fine. You
segments.
can go forever.
Okay.
For all I care.
So Kelvin. So the scientists say it's not heat; it's lack of cold. It's cold.
It's not
there's
cold,
no
it's
energy.
Right.
The energy will not function in Kelvin.
At 0 degrees Kelvin. Yeah.
But Kelvin is an entity. Kelvin exists, right? It's something.
No, it's a grading form. It's like degrees. So
Right,
Kelvin,
but it measures something,
Yeah.
which is nothing. It measures nothing, right? It measures zero
It
What
activity.
it's saying
measures.
to you is all motion stops at
It
273.
literally
Yeah.
measures the average kinetic energy, the average energy of motion of vibrating particles. That's what any thermometer measures.
Okay, so
Except that
my point is that
you notice how Celsius has negative temperatures. Fahrenheit has negative temperatures. What Lord Kelvin said is, I'm going to make a temperature scale that has no negative temperatures. I'm going to set the coldest possible temperature to 0.
right.
There
What's
it
the
is.
hottest possible temperature?
There
What's
is
the
none.
opposite?
None.
There's none.
None.
I guess
These don't
normally
make sense.
I'm the
There's
smartest
got to be
person in the
there
room.
is
I
a
have to
beginning in
concede.
Kelvin. What's the end of whatever that is?
Bill, just because there's a beginning doesn't require there's an end.
Well, no, I'm sorry. If you call it a beginning, then there is an end. I mean, just the application of that word.
I watched Star Trek last night. What do you mean there's an end?
See, I'm the barbarian
Say.
at the gates, knocking on the gate of science, and he is defending, and I'm tossing these rocks over the top.
Barbarian is the right word. And sometimes it's a what do you call it? The trebuchet. Sometimes he's throwing big rocks over the wall.
Trebuchet. I speak French. I don't recognize that.
Trebuchet.
Tre-
Everybody knows a trebuchet. It's
Not
this
everybody.
Trebuchet.
very elaborate catapult.
Oh, that was what the trebuchet was.
Yeah. I think that's what
And
it's
they
called.
tossed rocks in there.
Really big one, even bigger than normal catapults. It was like it had a little swinging thing.
Oh,
and
right.
It would whip.
And then they
It's
released
quite
the-
beautiful, actually. As
So what I want to know is, what do you guys think about us racing back to the moon? What in God's name would we be racing back to the moon? We're going to colonize it now, so I imagine it's the new frontier.
Well, just to be clear, we're trying not to use the word colonize. It has such bad vibes from the history of exploration. So we're talking about making a settlement near the south pole of the moon. So that's a settlement.
I got a friend of mine.
What's that?
I got a friend of mine working for Blue Origin who is designing a 2-story house to be brought to the moon.
Wait, what is real estate at a rare on the moon? Why does it have to walk up
Real
steps?
estate only in as much as it seems to radiate. If you put something down, a flag on a piece of property that's never been explored before, like we did in the West, American West, some given formula around that flag is yours. I don't know how many yards of that.
The homesteading act.
Yeah. So how big was a homestead? And it had a definitive number of acres, the Homestead Act, but that was designed in Washington. Okay, if you go out there, you get 15 acres of that land that nobody's been to.
Yeah, but if you're on 15 acres, I don't think anyone is thinking, let me build a multi-story domicile.
Well, he's an engineer at Blue Origin, and he had a definition as to why. I think consolidating the area so that if you used warmth,
it's more
it
efficient.
warms it.
It is more efficient. Yes.
Yeah,
You
That's
have
the
less
way.
exposure to the outer surface.
Exactly. So now you found a reason for a 2-story house.
So people always talk about, and this is my theory, and I wonder what your take.
Well, no,
on
Einstein
this.
had a theory. You have a hypothesis. Let's be clear. Okay.
What's the difference between a hypothesis and a theory?
A theory is an idea that organizes known information with such accuracy and such precision that you successfully make predictions that have come true. So now many people don't think the word theory in that way, but that's what it is. And that's how you get evolutionary theory. You have quantum theory, that it is highly successful accounts of the world that have made predictions that have come true. If you have yet to test an idea, and you're just putting something out there, you have a hypothesis.
but I'll bet you that there are as many theories that didn't work and were cast out because it was unprovable.
They should have been called hypotheses. That's the problem.
I see.
That's the problem.
So if it fails,
Only
it's
when
a
it's
hypothesis.
verified is it brought to the level of theory. In
But
any
I
modern
thought
use-
theory needed in science. The theory needed proving. You needed
evidence for it.
practical. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So
You still don't. You can call it all you want. You still don't know that it's true.
if it's true every place you have yet to measure it, then it's a a legit theory.
See,
Every
if
prediction.
we were on stage, I'd say, all right, look, I know a little bit, a tiny fraction about Hawking. Little bit about Hawking.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. Dr. Stephen. Did you ever meet him?
Yes, yes,
Did you talk to him?
yes. He was a guest on my podcast, as were you. Plus, I had dinner with him, and I
I,
asked
I
him.
had dinner with him too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What year? What I'm asking is, how able was he to feed?
No. I mean, he was fully all that you knew he couldn't do. He couldn't do. So when I say I have dinner with
That's a
him,
very, very diplomatic way of putting it.
yeah. He eats but doesn't eat. You give him food that he can chew, he can still taste. Okay, and then he spits it out so that he enjoys the food with everyone else at the table.
Well, how does he get nourishment?
I don't know if it goes through feed bags and things. You can put very highly nourishing things directly into your
So
stomach.
wait a minute. Describe to me as briefly as you can, which is challenging, I know. What was your dinner like with him?
Well, so there might have been 10 people at a dinner table, but I was directly across from him. And so I had a question that I asked of him. And what he does is he has obviously he's computer aided, and it tracks his eyes, and he assembles words based on what letters come across his field of view, and he stops on them, and that letter drops into a word. And it makes a guess as to what the full word would be. It would put it down like what any modern word processor would do today. But back then, that was very leading stuff. So he can compose faster than you might otherwise think, given these tools. And so I asked him the question. It was funny. So plus he has a great sense of humor, by the way. So I said, how come Isaac Newton didn't? There's something that Isaac Newton could have come up with, but didn't, even though it was just crumbs on a plate that he was eating from. And how come Einstein did not predict black holes? Other people had to use his theory of relativity to show that you can get black holes. And I said this to him, and I'd forgotten I had asked it. And 15 minutes later, might have been only 10, but it felt like 15. He says, "You can't think of everything." Oh my God.
That's a funny line.
That is deeply true, and I've never forgotten that reply.
Yeah. I had dinner with him. I did an interview. I interviewed him in Cambridge at his house, and he invited me to dinner. And so he left, I guess. Anyway, we parted to come back to each other at dinner time. And I said to the producer, I can't go. I can't go. Well, he can't speak. In my case, he had a little electronic attachment to his cheek that if he wiggled his cheek, he could move the cursor on this a little different setup electronically. And it was after you had talked to him, so I guess he had progressed further into his disease. But I said, I can't go there. What am I going to speak to him about? How do I get a conversation? How do you converse with a man who can't speak or can speak like this? How are you? I am all right. That's about the length of time those words would come out.
There's no witty repartee, right? Mm-hmm.
There's no repartee. There's how are you? Good. And that meant I had to talk if I was going to go there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. He couldn't respond really, and that was my dilemma.
Well, if you guys like this, you're going to love on May 19th and 20th. These guys are going to be at the Saban Theatre. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to be there. And if they authorize me, I'm going to break this up into a lot of TikToks.
You're going to sell merchandise, is what you're going to do.
And I'm going to come up with some merchandise. You got to sell a T-shirt, a book, or something.
And by the way, if you can't make it or you're well outside of the LA area, as Bill had said earlier, we laid down many hours of conversation which is just a fraction of the total that
Oh, you
comes
have
out
the
of
book.
us. It was called Cosmos Confidential. It's an audiobook by Blackstone is the publisher. And it got that title because we shared stories with each other that
Blackstone.
we've never shared with our fan bases before, because we had an intimacy that was different.
We had 20 hours to talk,
And it was,
so any
20
subject,
hours.
Look at that ant, and we do 10 minutes on
And
a
all I
moth
care about
flying
is that
by.
day. I want you guys to think about this. At what point are they combine robots and humans? Because they know that's coming.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen, but
You don't?
I'll tell you about that on stage, Bill.
Great.
Why I don't think that'll happen.
Okay, what's he calling it?
Oh, so yeah, for the stage, it's called The Universe is Absurd.
No, not that.
Clearly what Bill
What's
thinks
his name? Who wrote about the final union? What's it? What there's a term where mankind and machine unite.
The singularity.
The singularity.
Yeah.
Well, he thinks the singularity. What's his name? Who wrote? Who developed?
Yeah, I know you're talking about it. His name will come to me.
Yeah. In fact, I interviewed him.
Now I get the entire thing, how you guys met and why this is such a great show. And I will tell everybody, this is amazing. I've done this show.
Ray
I've
Kurzweil.
never been
Ray Kurzweil.
so
Ray Kurzweil.
enthralled.
Yeah. I'm sorry, say again.
You remind me of the thing. Work on it. Your brain continuously works on it while you're working on other stuff.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. We're going to have to cut loose because KABC is not so friendly with letting me run over.
All right.
So we will see
Yeah,
you.
be careful leaving the studio and don't get run over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May
All right,
19th and
it's a
20th.
pleasure talking to you.
Thank
All right.
you
Thanks
so
for your
much.
much.
interest.
Thank you, Neil. I'll see
right,
you
guys.
soon, dear.
We'll do.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.